Right, how's it going? It's me, Shotty for HF, and I'm actually quite excited to be back up and running doing these kind of, software and VST videos again after a sort of slight hardware failure. I've not been able to record these videos, but I've actually set things up a different way, and I'm now back up and running, and, so it means I'll be able to share some of these new plugins that I found with you, and I'm going to start with this one, and this is a plugin by... It's code FN42, and obviously I will leave links in the description so you can go and check this out yourself. I will say it is a free download as well, which is always nice. And as far as I know, it's only available in VST 2 64-bit formats. I'm not sure. I don't think there's any, Mac specific AU plugin available. It is just VST 2 64-bit. So just to get that out of the way. And this plugin is called Transition, or is it transition? Let me know in the comments. So yeah, this is what it looks like, and it's actually a really interesting MIDI sequencer plugin, and there's quite a lot going on with this plugin, and I'm not going to go through every single thing. To be honest, I'm still trying to sort of figure this plugin out myself, so there's probably a few things that I'm missing. But basically, I just want to show you just how to get this thing up and running and show you how it works, because it's definitely interesting and it's kind of unique in the way that this is working, and it definitely gives some interesting results. So the way I've got this set up is I actually load Transition as a VST instrument, and then what I've done is I've loaded Serum. And what you actually do in Cubase, I know it might be different in different DAWs, is you set the MIDI input to Serum. And when you select that, you can see Transition MIDI out is in the list. And then I select that as the MIDI input to Serum. And then what I have to do in Cubase is I arm Serum for record. And then I'll just move this out of the way. What I've actually done is I put some MIDI notes in C minor. On the transition lane. Okay, so when this plays back, the MIDI coming out of transition goes into Serum, and when I press play to start with, absolutely nothing happens. And what it's actually about, this whole thing, is to do with bots and this grid, and this is where it gets kind of like really interesting. So up here you select one of these bots, and the sort of direction they're facing denotes the direction they're going to travel in. So for example, let's just set something up like, let's put one there, one there, and one there. And then what happens is when these hit the wall, the note that you can see there is the note that's going to play back in Serum. So this is how it starts. Just like that, okay? And I'm actually just going to turn this down slightly. Turn down the wrong one. There you go, turn down Serum slightly. I hope that's okay. So yeah, this is what happens when you press play. Now, from here, it can just start adding bots and see what happens. That is basically what this plugin is all about. Now, this goes much deeper than this, and this is where I kind of haven't explored everything so far. I mean, one of the things is if you double click on the bot itself, you can actually edit the bot, the velocity, the wrap, the movement probability, note probability, wobble. Who knows? I don't know what that actually does. So I'm going to leave that alone for now. The other thing is down here is where it says setup C major. You can actually go into here and start changing this, D minor, F minor. Now I'm assuming when I click on these and click apply, it might change the notes that are actually on the wall, but I'm actually going to... That didn't seem to do anything there. Oh, I see. So we've got the scale. Yeah, this is what I'm talking about. There's lots going on in here, selecting all of this different stuff. There's different scales, augmented, blues, chromatic. Okay, so as you can see, there's a lot to experiment with in getting this thing set up. But I'm actually going to leave it as it is for now. And the other thing that I found is that you can actually drag this up here and actually change the notes individually. Oh, it's actually changing the octave as far as I can see. Right, so you can change the octave. Now, where this gets even crazier is you can start sending bots off in different directions. So I'm just literally doing this totally at random. There's no planning to this at all. But what happens is you get different results every time the bots collide with each other. And let's just see what this sounds like for now. Okay, right, so it's completely random, and it's kind of like, I guess, for the most part, it's kind of unpredictable. Now, I will show you in a minute how I've actually got this to kind of do what I would say is I've kind of got it to do what I want it to do as far as step sequencing is concerned. But most of the time, this thing is like totally kind of random and just sort of left to do whatever it does by accident. Because all these different symbols down here, these all do different things as well. So, for example, if I click on, I'm not sure what these things are. Oh, it says up here what these things do. So I'll click on that and it says wedge southwest. I have no idea. What does that do? The colon. Jump 2. Okay, so that's kind of possibly straightforward. So if I put this on, let's say here, when that bot reaches that, it's going to jump 2 spaces. Okay, so let's just try playing that. And sort of as they collide into each other, it's like the pattern keeps changing. It's kind of like, it just keeps going. What I've found with this is sometimes eventually the pattern will start to kind of level out and become like a consistent loop. I mean, sometimes when I've set this up, what you actually end up with is just one lonely bot left on the board, just going back and forth, and everything else has kind of like destroyed itself. So it's definitely interesting results, and much like Randarp, which I did a video on, it has all these randomization sort of parameters here for the velocity, the gate, the swing, and the speed. So you can actually start turning some of these and make it even more random than it already is. It's certainly a bit of like creative fun. I haven't necessarily sat down with this and tried to, sort of construct or arrange, an entire piece of music from it. It's more just sort of seeing the different output that you can generate with it. So, I mean, let's just go a little bit crazy with some of these other symbols and stuff and just start putting some of these in. That says jump 1. This thing here says toggle speed. So we'll stick one of those there. And again, I'm not really planning this. Rotate 180 degrees. We'll put one of those there. What's this thing do? This says random. Rotate randomly. So let's put that there. What does this do? Wait. So it makes it wait. We'll make that one wait. I guess you could kind of be constructive with this when you could start to see where things are colliding and where the pattern might be going wrong. You might be able to judge this and go, well, if I make that one wait and that one jump, then they'll stop colliding and it's going to totally change the pattern. The other thing you can do here as well is actually mute one of these walls. So when it hits it, it won't actually make any sound. So yeah, again, channel. I'm assuming that channel wall north 1. Perhaps you could send that to different MIDI channels. I'm not quite sure what that's doing. So that when it hits a certain wall, it could actually trigger a different instrument that you've got loaded up. I'm just going to put a few more of these symbols in and just see what happens just for the fun of it. And we'll listen to the output and see whether it just sort of self-destructs or creates something musical. This one here is start position. I don't know what that is. What's this square? Wormhole. Okay, wormhole. Let's have a few wormholes and see what that does. I think the wormhole will make it jump to another part of the board. So again, totally just sort of randomizing whatever this is going to generate, and who knows what it's going to sound like. So I'm just sort of filling this out there, and also just to make it even more crazy, let's just put a few more bots in. So as you can see, this is like purely down to experimentation. And let's see what happens now. Okay, that's like not that interesting, but hopefully you get the idea. Also, for some reason in Cubase, this seems to skip when it cycles. And I'm not entirely sure what that's doing. But let's just extend this. So now I think if I actually move the MIDI notes down an octave, I'm not sure. Yeah, it does. It changes, obviously, the octave note of the whatever it is on the wall that it's hitting. So, and, you know, obviously we can change the timing. I think if it was faster, it's going to be even more insane, but... yeah, so what else can we do with this? I'm just going to actually have a look in this and actually put it to harmonic minor and put it into E and apply that. So let's see what that sounds like. Yeah, and as you can hear, it's changing that. So we've got swing, wobble. Not sure what wobble's doing, so we'll have a listen to that. Let's randomize the velocity and randomize the gate. Let's obstruction probability. I'm assuming that is obstacle probability. Note probability. Let's turn that down a little bit and let's see how that changes things. Let's put it onto triplet and just have a quick listen to that. Right, okay, so here's one thing that I did do with this. I'm actually going to delete all of everything that I put in, just going to delete it all. Down here, delete all, that will delete all the obstacles as well. So let's just do that. And what you can actually do down here is change the number of rows and columns. So let's go 3 by 3, for example, and use this as just a step sequencer, much more simplified. Okay, so let's just have a quick listen to this. Now they're still colliding. Hold on a second. It's probably because of everything that I've done here. Okay, and as you can hear, you're sort of getting that bit more of a normal sort of, yeah, you know, step sequence, arpeggio, whatever you want to call it. And it's just the 3 notes. Now, actually, this could be quite useful if you start changing the transpose here for making, say, like a simple bass line. Oh, you can actually change the notes as well. Okay, so I've just changed the note. It depends what you're hovering over. Right, so you can change the note as well as the transpose on that. I thought it was just doing the transpose to start with. And then let's put that onto triplets. With that sound, I mean, it's not a very good sound for doing that with. If I just try and, I don't know, let's try and find a bass sound. I've literally just changed the bass sound for one that I've got in all my Serum presets, and yeah, with this sound and on this particular octave, this is what it sounds like. And with that, it is possibly the start of, or the makings of, maybe a cool bass line that you could, you know, put to a beat and then start side chaining it and trying to sort of get that kind of rhythm. Let's just try another couple of sounds in Serum. So for example, you know, like that, just listen again. Like that sounds pretty cool. And then, you know, if you wanted to sort of keep things simple and experiment sort of gradually, then you could increase the number of rows and columns and then add, you know, another bot onto this column. In fact, let's just see if we can, by the way, right clicking deletes whatever's in that square as well. So we can just put one here, send it the other way. Now, I can almost hear there that if there was another one sort of there, and I think with that, you know, you're starting to get something that's possibly like a little bit more constructive and a little bit more useful. But definitely, you know, as I say, I'm not going to delve into everything that's in here, even though, you know, I've probably covered most of it. But obviously, if you start messing around with some of these other sections and parameters and stuff like that, and obviously the obstacle section as well, that's really going to start to change things a little bit. But you can kind of keep this simple and experiment gradually with it. And, you know, maybe it might be an idea to just start off with one or two of these obstacles and really get familiar with what they're doing. And then you might be able to look at this grid and go, right, I know what I want this to do. So you can start generating the output that you actually want, rather than it just being so random. So really, that's all I wanted to show you with this plugin, because I've never seen a sequencer like this before. I mean, please do let me know in the comments, is there anything else out there like this in any other DAW or something like that that I've just, you know, never come across before? Because to me, this is a really interesting and quirky way of doing things, and a lot of it is kind of left up to chance. But, you know, it's one of those kind of tools that, you know, if you've got no inspiration and you just want to have a mess about and see what sort of tones and outputs you can generate, then this might be something to load up and just see where it ends up and see where it sort of takes you, you know. And the other thing, the last thing that I will say is what you can do with this when it's set up like this and Serum's armed for record, receiving the MIDI notes from transition. When you press record, you then have the MIDI notes, which you could then obviously go in and edit and move around. And for some reason with this, it's slightly off grid. So you can obviously go in and quantize that, you know, or even move those notes around slightly. Actually, I do know why it's off grid. That's probably to do with the triplet timing, isn't it? Because I haven't set my grid up to triplets in here. So yeah, that's probably what that is. But again, you can really sort of go into this and just move some of these MIDI notes around and then really start to kind of perfect whatever it is that you've recorded, and, you know, switch it up a little bit and make some edits that way. So there's definitely something to get out of this plugin. And yeah, I'd never seen anything quite like this before, and that's why I wanted to share it with you. So again, links will be in the description. Please do check it out and have some fun with it. And that's it for this video. If you like this video, of course, please do give it a like and subscribe, because I will be back with many more videos like this. And that's it. Until the next one, take it easy, stay creative, keep smiling, sound.